I have the unique pleasure every morning of welcoming students through our main doors. And I see 3-year-olds walking next to 6-year-olds, next to seniors in high school. And when I think about this continuum of 3-year-olds through upper school students in one building, and really that arc of learning that's taking place from 3-year-olds to 18, it's really a powerful thing to wrap your head around.
At the core of everything that we're doing, we're looking for students to have really strong foundational skills and some of those skills that they're going to transfer kind of throughout their life.
So for students to find their purpose is amazing and it's exciting, but to realize their potential, they have to have the skills and we have to give them to them. Before you can write essays, you need to write sentences. Before you can write sentences, you need to be able to form letters. That's true for every domain, for every subject area. We also know that by building fluency and foundational skills, we're lightening that cognitive load. We're making learning easier. So by pursuing practices that actively make a child's cognitive load lighter, we're actually able to push harder and go farther with their academic learning. And that's true in reading as well as math.
When we think about math and literacy and those foundation blocks, that's where students really have to think hard. You have to think hard on how to read, or you think hard about how to do your addition or your multiplication facts. And once we move past that, then you can do that application piece. So how we take that math fact and we apply it to a problem to solve, whether it's a problem in our textbooks or it's a problem in the real world.
In ECLS, our reading and writing program is grounded in science. For a long time, people thought kids just naturally became readers and writers because they naturally become speakers. But what the science shows us now through things like fMRIs and really exciting technology, is that's just not the case. Students require systematic and explicit instruction in reading and writing to gain those skills.
We can really break children into small groups using data and what we know about students as learners. And we break into those smaller groups to provide that differentiated instruction so that each child really feels like a mathematician, but they're also facing problems that are moving them forward in their thinking, that are giving them that growth mindset around math that we want them to have. Math is hard, but I can do it because I'm in a small group and I have a problem that's a just right problem for me.
In ECLS math, we focus on the Singapore math curriculum, and the model there has a few important components that distinguish it from other methodologies of math teaching. The first is a movement from concrete to pictorial to abstract. It's a grounding principle of Singapore, and it's something that we're very committed to because it does lead to that deep learning. It helps students be more nimble using the math later on to solve problems. So that good, solid instruction, consistent, systematic, explicit instruction in early grades really opens up doors down the road to students being able to take those skills and explore whatever they want to explore.
We've set a strong foundation for their learning. We've given them that platform to really think about the world and how they apply the skills they've learned to solve problems, to do big things, so that they can go into middle school and upper school well prepared for that academic learning.
One of the things we're always looking at is how to read literature. How do you read text? How do you identify what that key piece is, or what do I need to remember so that I can apply it later on? And so those skills are really important so that our students have that strong foundation so that as they progress through middle school and beyond, they have kind of that foundation to jump off from. So our 6th graders are embarking on a short unit on design challenges. So they are working through the design process to create lots of different items, and they're competing with their peers to make the fastest bobsled or the tallest tower out of certain things. But really the foundation behind it is we are encouraging them to study some of those physics principles that we don't always study in 6th grade. It's not part of our curriculum at the core, but we want them to have that exposure year after year after year. And so they are studying velocity and acceleration, air resistance. All of those are things that they are studying, and they don't always realize that that's what they're studying. We want them, as they're getting older in middle school and then into upper school, to be able to feel comfortable spreading those wings. That confidence in themselves that they can handle really hard things. that when something gets hard, they have the skills to overcome it. And if they don't have the skills, they know the people to go find who can help them with those skills. And I think that confidence helps them approach any sort of challenge with just a different lens and helps them achieve great things.
The upper school gets to be the beneficiary of all the good work that teachers put in the lower school and the middle school. And so they keep coming in with strong foundations, and our job is to shore up those foundations and to be able to open that ceiling for them when they get to 11th and 12th grade.
One of the things that I also like about Wellington is the ability to see students grow from when they're freshmen, sophomores to when they're juniors and seniors, and being able to use those foundational skills in real-world applications or in other aspects of the curriculum.
What we have tried to do is give kids that college experience in 11th and 12th grade. If they pick the classes they want, then their engagement increases and the work that they do is better.
So one of the things that's really unique about Wellington is that across the curriculum, and including math, there are so many different courses that students can take. There are a lot of different types of math that students might be exposed to. For example, geometry, art, and architecture, getting an exposure to architecture and blueprints. I know that some students, after doing a project like that, it really opens up their minds to what architecture might be like, and they might want to further study that. Also, cryptography is another course that's very unique to Wellington. Quantitative reasoning, having an entire class just project-based, are some of the examples for the vast variety of courses, and I think that is really unique to Wellington.
My central thesis is that there is a path for every child at Wellington, and what you have to do is help them find that path.
So when I teach advanced stats, we use the AP curriculum, and at the end, depending on the college, students can get college credit. And when alumni come back to visit, they often will say, Miss Lynn, we learned so much of what we did in your class, and I'm getting an A+ right now.
I'm also floored by what I see kids do in our advanced classes. To be able to work comfortably in labs and to talk to professors about high-level scientific thinking is just astounding to me.
One thing that makes me smile is when students have an aha moment. So in class, when they've been struggling and then things just click.
When we get to that moment where that ceiling has been opened, it's an absolute moment of joy, and you can see the aha moment for the kid. We know that they come online at different times, so we can't predict when that'll happen. And so when they have that moment that ceiling has been opened, our job as a school is to make sure that we are ready when that moment arrives, to push them and say, you got this. They jump and they take flight, and that's the beauty of it.
If you were to take a page from a magazine about what is school to a child, it's Wellington. And what is the perfect school for a teacher? It's Wellington.
Well, I hope that the students are able to work through challenges, and that Wellington is a place where not only they have felt challenged, but also have been able to feel like they can persevere through these challenges.
Ultimately, when kids leave and go after, I think in the short term, I want them to feel prepared for the first step of college. But ultimately, I'd like to believe that we've prepared them for life.
I know, as a Wellington faculty member and as a Wellington parent, that we are equipping our students here for success in the future. They're getting that here. This is something that we're doing at Wellington.